Hello, everybody. It is Renee and Dee, and today we are going to be talking about smoothies. And we've gotten a lot of response from everybody that they are loving this week's subject. So it's summertime and it's warm outside. We like to have simple things and be able to get all of our veggies in and have something cool. Feels like a yummy milkshake. And I was super excited when Dee and I were talking about, this subject. So I am broadcasting today from Las Vegas, and it has been record-breaking temperatures up here. I think day before yesterday was 111. Yikes. So I've been spending a lot of time indoors. And if you are jumping on live, give us a hashtag live and tell us what your weather is. Let's talk a little bit weather. So Dee, what's going on in the hat?
Well, we're about 95 today, so we're in a nice weather snap. We've got a little bit too much wind for my liking. But I want to ask you, have you seen the grasshopper or cricket outbreak there in Vegas? Are they like...
It's more down on the strip. We live up at the west end of town in an area called Summerlin, and we were out, like, I think it was Saturday night. We might have been out for dinner, and we saw a few, but not the massive cricket thing. I think there was like it was saying there was some like wetness here, and then that attracted the is it crickets? Crickets or
grasshopper crickets?
Yeah. No, I saw a few of them in the lamplight, but yeah, we've had a couple of Uber drivers tell us that they jumped in their car and freaked them out, and but I think it's more down on the strip. I've had people been tagging me in photos. So yeah, so all right, Dee is a coach, an ideal protein coach, and she works at Red Cliff Pharmacy up in Medicine Hat, Alberta. And for all of you that share our recipes and our posts, we want to say a big thank you. We shared some of those names last week, but keep sharing, and we will keep sharing also. So we've got Renee on here from Kansas. How you doing,
Hello, Renee?
And so join us. Tell us how you're doing this summer so far. So Dee has created some really fun recipes. Was this a fun week for you to create recipes?
Mm-hmm. So this is something that is right in my wheelhouse because I love to stew and add flavoring and puree vegetables and have them in ice cube trays, and then I transfer them into little containers or baggies, and I just have them in my freezer. And there's a ton. We're going to focus on smoothies today, but I do it for things like smoothies. I do it for things like faux ice creams, for popsicles, and they also work really good in overnight oatmeal. So I have quite a few of those types of phase 1 through 4 friendly recipes. So I like to have these done. And so I want to talk about a few of these recipes today. I did give a list of the reasons why I think they're a fantastic idea. So if you are a person who struggles to get your daily quotient of vegetables in, or maybe vegetables just weren't something you were exposed to growing up, and so your palate is limited, so it's a great way to expand your palate on getting those veggies in. There's so many, like we could just keep on going. So, if you're brand new on the diet and you're not used to consuming that amount of veggies, sometimes in those first few weeks, you can get a little bit of gastro distress. So pre-cooking and pre-pureeing and breaking them down can give you some ease in the tummy area there, or especially if you are a former gastric surgery patient, if you have any kind of stomach issues like diverticulitis or diverticuli, Crohn's colitis, those types of things, then pre-cooking your veggies and blending or pureeing them down can be really tummy friendly. So it's not always about taste preference, although for many that's really high up there. So a lot of people don't like the texture of vegetables. So this is a great area to get those broken down, get them a little more tasteless, but they add the most fabulous volume to things like smoothies.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I remember the first time I tried this program back in 2012, I remember by like day, I don't know, 7 or 10, I was going down on the scale, but my stomach was distended, like I was pregnant, and I was like losing my mind. And I didn't, my coach never said to me like, hey, you need to be, you know, cognizant of how your body's feeling. And if you're eating, you know, all raw vegetables, probably, you know, maybe your body can't handle it, and your digestion can't handle it. So things to know. So I do love when we puree vegetables, cook them a little bit or what have you. So tell us what is in this smoothie here on the screen. What's this guy called?
So this one is our apple pie smoothie. And in another picture that we'll see later, I will point out what the frozen veggie and flavoring looks like. I didn't have enough to blend the smoothie and leave them in the picture. So that is another, I will work on getting some better finished product pictures for you this week. But so this is chayote squash. And while stewing down the chayote squash, I use the apple pie spice and the maple walnut flavored syrup from Walden Farms. And as always, I want to touch on, you know, I chose to use the Walden Farms because the serving size of that sweetener is larger than other ones. And I am not against using sweeteners. I know the jury is out across the board, but if you use your extras wisely, they can become a great addition to your program. But you do have to respect the serving size, and you must journal them and not exceed 4 per day. And that's a theme that is going to go all through your phase 1, 2, 3 journey. You know, things like your salad dressings and maple syrups, you know, they're there, any gums, mints, so on and so forth. If you're unsure about any extra that you want to have, it's not going to have any carbohydrates. It's not going to have any fat. So, you know, it's really, really important that you understand that. If it has carbs or fat in it, it's going to be a solid no. So always check with your coach on that. However, when you're using them and respecting the rules, they can become great additions. And so in this smoothie, I take a chayote squash, 1 cup. I wash it and then I cut it into small chunks. I don't peel my squash because I want all the vitamins and nutrients out of that peel and it doesn't bug me. But I stew it down with the apple pie spice and the maple walnut, and then I mash it. Now, if you are texture sensitive, you can simply use an immersion blender or put it through a blender, make a nice puree, and then I pour them either into my silicone molds or ice cube trays, and I freeze them, and I do it in 1 cup batches, or 2 cups. So I know that if 2 cups fill 1 ice cube tray, half that is 1 cup of veggies. And then I have smoothie ingredients ready to go. So then this morning I used a cup of water, about 1/2 cup of ice cubes, and then a cup of my frozen chayote and a vanilla drink mix, and made an apple pie spice smoothie. And so if you wanted a little bit more flavor, you can add a little bit more apple pie spice. If you cannot find that spice, I do have a recipe for an apple pie spice blend, but things like this are usually pretty easy to find. And so you can make really fast, quick, delicious breakfast, and it makes a lot of smoothie. So it's awesome. The other tip that I wanted to, this made so much smoothie that I could only drink half at one time. And then I drank the other half with ice cold coffee. So then I had my apple pie smoothie in it, like basically as a cold brew coffee, and it was delicious. It was awesome. So I just had to throw that in there, that you can think outside of the box a little bit too. So it took me all morning to enjoy that smoothie. So it was perfect.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, that gives you that really nice, full, you know, you feel satisfied. So the great thing about adding our veggies, and you know, chayote squash is a veggie that Dee introduced me to, but you know, those are things that really keep us satiated and full. So let's say hi to a couple more people here. We were talking to Renee earlier. She says it's hot, hot, hot there in Kansas. And Sandy, hello, Sandy from Graham, Washington. And we've got Paulette here from Oneida, Wisconsin. Joelle says hello, and Christina says hello from Texas. Give us a hashtag live. Tell us. We're talking about hot weather a little bit today. If you weren't on earlier, if you're in the replay, give us a hashtag replay. And if you want today's smoothie recipes, all you have to do, if you don't already get our newsletter, all you have to do is type in the word newsletter and you will get them on Monday morning. So Dee, I love, you know, she sends me these pictures and I don't always know what they are when I'm putting them together. And so I was like, what are these, like ingredients for like muffins, or like what's going on here? So because I thought we were doing smoothies. And so anyway, so I love that she makes these. What are you making them in ice cube trays and freezing your veggies? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this picture here is, again, stewed zucchini, and in that stewed zucchini, it has the Walden Farms orange marmalade, it has real orange extract, and then I also added some real orange zest right into the pot when I am stewing down that zucchini. And zucchini is a beautiful vehicle for almost any flavor that you want to add to it. It's very similar to chayote in that it will take on the flavor of whatever you put in there. Zucchini is a little bit more watery, less firm, of course, than the chayote, so it cooks down really, really fast. And so for all of you creamsicle or orangesicle lovers out there, this is an awesome option to blend that down. And again, I put it into the ice cube tray, freeze it, portion it out into the 1 cup serving, and with the vanilla drink mix, then you have a creamsicle smoothie. You don't even taste the zucchini. It just adds that beautiful cold, it's so filling, so thick. It adds the, you know, that frozen vegetable adds a beautiful thickness to it. So it's really quite awesome. And the really neat thing about when you freeze your veggies with the flavoring in it, when you go to construct your actual smoothie, even though there's a cup of frozen veggie ice there, you're going to need about a cup of water and even additional ice because it is that strong in flavoring, and it just blends so beautifully into that great big smoothie. Or if more than one person is on program in your house, or somebody wants to share with you, you know, you can blend up one smoothie, share it, and only have, you know, half a protein pack and a half cup of veggies and still have a lot more food to consume in your day. So,
okay, so what are these? Are these like little ice cubes of what? I'm sorry, did I miss what they were?
That's the zucchini. So that's
your little orange things are the zucchini?
Nope. The little orange things are actually your real orange zest.
Oh, okay. So let's talk a minute about orange zest, because obviously we're not eating oranges on phase one. How much like orange zest is this, and is this counted as a vegetable, or is it just like a flavoring?
It's a seasoning. You would count it as like a herb or a seasoning. So when you see things like lemon and lime and orange zest in recipes, I never use more than a teaspoon because I'm not looking to add carbohydrates to, just like things like when you see things like garlic powders or onion powders, they always have more carbs than the actual fresh garlic does. And so actual peel has a lot less carbs than the dried form. So you can use zests, true zest. You're not using any of the fruit juice at all, only the zest. So, and there's lots of times for flavoring, especially, and again, check with your coach, but lemon and lime juice, you can exceed allowable consumption. You really do need to treat those as a sweetener because that juice will have carbohydrates in it. So you do have to be, so I'm looking for extra orange flavor or say lemon or lime flavoring, but without using the extra juice because I want to avoid the carbohydrates. And the cool thing about oranges is you can get true orange extract, or if you're an essential oil user, you can also use orange oil, actual essential oils in your citrus family, and peppermint for that matter, in building your smoothies too. So there is so many ways. And so in each recipe, we're going to give you some options. So maybe you do like to use the Walden Farm jams, or maybe you like to just use the, zests of your citrus fruits. There are true extracts, not artificial. You're going to be looking for the real deal, plus essential oils that you can also flavor your smoothies with. So there's a wide.
So when you say orange extract, the real deal, tell us what that means.
So it is actually going to say pure orange extract. The word artificial will be nowhere on the bottle. So when you're purchasing extracts, if you see the word artificial, you're just going to leave it be. The same goes for vanilla, good old vanilla. You want pure extract when you're adding extracts to your baking. So it's your.
I love that because if you did not know that, give us a hashtag tip, because I did not know that. So that's where we have to learn, and where Dee has taught me a ton of things is, I don't know if this is the right thing to pick. I'm at the grocery store and I'm hurrying and I look at flavorings, and so it's important that we understand what things work for us and what things don't. And I just think on a general basis, anything that says artificial, we probably should avoid. So give us a hashtag tip if you just learned something. All right. What do we got here, Dee? It looks like we still got the orange zest and the zucchini going.
Right. So I just wanted to show you how then, like on your one batch of your orange zucchini, how just by simply changing your flavoring and your packet, you can make an entire different smoothie. So the pina colada on its own, you could flavor your zucchini with, say, the coconut and pineapple Da Vinci, or one or the other. Same method that we give you, or that citrus with the pineapple and coconut in that pina colada IP pack is fantastic. And so hot summer day, you need a faux summer mocktail, cocktail, you need your nutrition, man, you can sit on your deck and slurp on that for all morning. You could have 4 huge glasses when you add veggies and ice. It's delicious. So you don't need a brand new base recipe for every single one of your creations, if that makes sense. So you got a whole tray, maybe one day you're having the orange creamsicle and the next day you are having a tropical flavor infusion. So just to show you the versatility on once you've got your base product frozen and ready to go. And because it's so easy to do, in the islands.
So
No,
what is it? What, Joelle, let us know what you mean by purchased in the islands.
like Mexico, pure vanilla from Mexico? Yes, if that's what you mean. But again, it's gonna say pure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
And let's say hello to Ideal Weight Loss Center in California.
Hello.
Where are you at in California? I'm up in Northern California. Okay, so this one here is like a summer, like a tropical mocktail here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I thought was muffins. You
right. So I wanted to give you a screenshot of, the flatter one, that is the chayote, maple syrup, and apple pie spice blended together. And I like mine chunky, so I just mash mine. But if you wanted to puree that until smooth, like please do. And in that's 1 cup of chayote and sweetener stewed down. So that's like 1 cup of veggie ready to go. And then on the other side of it, that one is the chocolate peppermint. And so that is actually turnip, guys. That is mashed turnip. And so again, you're going to wash, peel, cube, and boil down your turnip, drain off all the excess water, and then you mash it up or whip it up with your flavoring. So I did chocolate, and chocolate syrup and peppermint extract, pure peppermint extract. And it is incredible how you do not taste any turnip once you are done. It is just amazing. And that, again, that frozen turnip, I've done frozen cauliflower before. It gives such bulk to your smoothie. So this one I do with the chocolate drink mix.
Awesome. Okay, so you take these. Do you like prep these on like Sunday and then you have them in your freezer? Like how does that go?
It's so random, honestly. If I'm working on my stove and making a meal, it literally takes, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on what kind of veggie I've chosen to quickly stew down. Like you can stew down a couple cups of rhubarb in 15 minutes from start to finish on your stovetop, so quick. So if you're already preparing, a meal or doing something in your kitchen, it's really fast. Or if you have leftover veggies that you just didn't get to, this is a great way to use them as well. And I have a lot of our clients doing overnight oatmeal, and it's using vegetables that you have cooked down and then you puree, and you start with that base veggie like that, and so you can go sweet or savory, which I think is really an awesome ability too. So, and pureed veggies, they thicken soups, they thicken stews. Like a lot of times people are like, I need a thickener, like I need cornstarch or I need flour. No, you don't. You just can use everything off that phase one sheet, and it can help thicken and add a lot of flavor. So yeah, so that's a screenshot of turnip and chayote, just with their different flavors, and those ones are frozen.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, Ideal Weight Loss Center is from Ridgecrest. We're in the epicenter, which is actually about, we have a clinic in Palm Desert, so I think it's about 150 or 200 miles from where we were. So my mom definitely felt the earthquake. Oh. So Joelle is asking, are those really thick as far as the consistency that you're making and freezing?
So how you, oh yeah, they're like, it's thick. There's your ice cube mixture. It is extremely thick. And then you, of course, then when you are blending your smoothie, you decide how much extra ice and water you want to add to those ice cubes to your consistency. So if you're somebody who wants to eat it more off of a spoon, or if you want to thin it out, you have those options. So you can find your own personal sweet spot. Because it's different for everybody, as is the flavorings that you add. So I know that I get a lot of feedback on, can I use essential oil, or I don't like this, or can I use that? And here, this opens up a lot of different vehicles for flavorings as well.
So what's this one called, Dee?
Well, this is our chocolate caramel fudge waffle cone. And so I threw this one in here because dieters, protocol users love fun names. But the really cool thing is, so this is a 000 skinny syrup by Jordan's Skinny Girl. And they have a summer ice cream collection of flavorings. And you get 1 fluid ounce is a sweetener, and that is plenty of sweetener to sweeten a smoothie. But the really cool thing about this waffle cone fudge caramel is that it really does lend that flavor to your smoothie and to your vegetable. Now I have a little bit of everything going in here. So I did use turnip again as my base for the caramel fudge. And I also, in here, I did a phase 4 one as well. So this one is blended with, again, I chose the chocolate drink, but you can use a cappuccino or vanilla. You don't have to use chocolate, but because it did have the caramel fudge, I wanted to kind of marry a flavor that I liked. But phase 4, add real cocoa powder into your smoothie. You get no sugar, but you get a ton of flavoring with that addition too. So that's, if you are a chocolate lover and you're in phase 4, I highly recommend using things like cocoa powder versus a ton of extra sweetener. The other thing about the things like Jordan Skinny Syrups is they are so incredibly sweet. A fluid ounce is 30 mils. And I know we always talk about this. So 2 tablespoons or 30 mils, it's a lot of sweetener. And so if you're going to have a cup of coffee and you said, oh, I need some sweetener, I would tell you to try 1 teaspoon out of that 6 allowable teaspoons that you could have. I would say go slow and build, because there's a ton of flavor in there. And a lot of the times that just gets lost on volume. Like we think we need lots to make it taste good, but then we're really not focusing on the flavor. So these syrups can be a great addition to things like smoothies and summer drinks and mixing. But start with a little bit and then, see where you need to be. But again, this made an absolutely delicious smoothie. Tons of flavor. Yeah.
So what are these little white things up here?
That's your turnip. That's the base veggie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you're in phase 1, you're using the chocolate drink mix?
Yep. With the caramel fudge. And there are caramel extracts out there. If you're in phase 1, I don't think you're going to find a pure caramel extract, guys, but phase 4, you might be able to find one. Not that I think the artificial ones are going to, they don't have anything in them. It's just propylene glycol, and it's just another thing that you just don't need to add to your day. I just don't love the ingredients panel on them, but that's not my place to tell you that you can't have it. I just don't recommend them. That's all.
Yeah, and something to always be thinking about is if you have tummy problems already, if you have any kind of gastric or digestive problems, stay real simple on the artificial sweeteners and the extra extracts and the syrups and that kind of thing. I really tend to use them very lightly. Like 1 little pump goes a long, long ways. And, maybe if they bother you, then you only do it once in a while, because, it's important that our digestive system is happy, and not everybody can handle artificial sweeteners. Yeah. So super, super important. So Joelle says here that she says the vanilla is thick in the Dominican or Puerto Rican, or she's not sure if they have pure sugar. I think you're just going to have to look on the ingredient list, because definitely not sure sure how that works in other places. So, Dee, this is like a hot seller at our clinic, this strawberry banana, and especially during the summer when people want simple things, quick things, and you can always, I love the rhubarb. Rhubarb is another thing that, that was introduced to me by one of my clients, and so love it, and I love that Dee loves it because it's fibrous, it's tasty, it tastes like a fruit. So a lot of times our clients are saying, I miss my fruit. You miss your fruit, jump on board with chayote and rhubarb, because those are the two things that will replace all of those fruit flavors. Love it. Mm-hmm. So tell us, I see you got rhubarb here, you got the smoothie. Do you add extra ice and water, and how does that work?
I'm going to give you my schmeal on the strawberry banana smoothie and then the strawberry banana rhubarb smoothie. And I do have to give a shout out to my mom. That is rhubarb from her garden, and the zucchini that you've seen in the pictures is zucchini from my mom's garden too. So half of this week's vegetables were courtesy of my mama. Then throw it into however you blend your smoothies with a little extra ice and water, and it is fabulous. You could throw another flavor shot of anything, strawberry, banana, whatever you like in there if you're going to stretch that out. That guy can be frozen on his own and made into beautiful smoothies. But then, of course, I'm a huge fan of stewing down rhubarb. We've done it on this show a ton. Renee has showed you guys how to use an Instapot. We do it on the stovetop. We use it from everything from rhubarb crisps to squares to baking to smoothies. We eat cakes. We use rhubarb a lot. And so stewed down rhubarb, blended then with the strawberry banana drink, and then poured into your trays to make your frozen ice is amazing as well. Another tip I'd like to give you too is that your Jell-O, so your freebie collagen Jell-O every second day, can be put into your rhubarb as you're stewing it down for extra flavor as well. And then,
so what are the big pink chunks on the rhubarb? So those are the frozen ice cubes that she was just talking about. So tell us one more time what's in so that's the rhubarb, the strawberry banana, and then just frozen just like that into ice cubes?
Yep. So those ice cubes you see there, this is exactly what it is. I took 2 cups of rhubarb, added half a cup of water. I added 2 tablespoons of Walden Farm jam, 1 serving of sweetener for each cup of veg. 1 pack of IP Jell-O went into this one. You can totally leave that out. And once that was stewed down 15 minutes, then I mash up my rhubarb, or you can puree it if you need it smooth. And then I pour in my 1 bottle of the strawberry banana drink in this case. Sorry. Wrong, guys. Stop. I just went wrong. When I blend those frozen ice cubes, then so that makes 2 cups of flavored rhubarb puree. And so then I always use 1 cup at a time when I make my smoothies. So then those chunks there that you see, 1 cup of those into the bottle of the strawberry banana drink and blend for a really big smoothie. We'll have another picture so that you can see the blended smoothie. But yeah, so I did say previously you can just freeze that strawberry banana drink too if you didn't want veg in it. So I was going all over the place there. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so these actually have the rhubarb in them then.
Yeah, those chunks are pureed rhubarb. You betcha.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So, another thing that we did, if you haven't seen it yet, is the popsicle show. So go back a couple weeks, because a lot of these things you can also make into, maybe you don't want smoothies, but you'd like to have 3 popsicles or 4 popsicles between lunch and dinner or in the afternoon snack. You can do that too, right, Dee?
You betcha.
I love it.
Good filler.
All right. So last but not least is this fancy picture. You know, I love the ending picture to be my favorite picture here. This looks like something I might be sipping on in sitting at, you know, in front of the ocean. So is this the strawberry banana rhubarb smoothie?
Yeah. So there's my rhubarb cubes then blended with the strawberry rhubarb banana drink. So easy, so fast. And I actually prefer that drink blended with other ones. And so this week, or on Monday, when the recipes come out, I'm going to give you all of those plus a pumpkin spice one. We're going to give you a chocolate peppermint recipe. We're going to give you the caramel fudge waffle cone. We'll give you a couple rhubarb ones, the apple pie. Yeah, Tammy, they come out. I think I gave you the link today. Those recipes come to your email every Monday, and they're complete form, so you can print them once you get them. You betcha.
Yeah, so one of the things I thought I would show everybody is, you know, when you go on dsrecipes.com, all you have to do is hit the recipe tab at the top of the page. And so just, you know, dsrecipes.com, you're going to hit the recipe tab at the top of the page, and every week's recipes are right here. So it's going to, you know, take you to our Ideal Kitchen blog. And then you can even, like up here, you know, you can click on baking and it'll take you to baking recipes. And so, you know, you can just click on each recipe here, and then it's going to open that recipe up. And then you're going to be able to, you know, you can print them from the blog. So just head over to Dee's Recipes, and I mean, I don't even know how many recipes we have on there now because of, you know, just a whole year's worth of recipes that Dee has created, and you know, tons and tons of different stuff on there. The other thing that is great to take a look at, and if you don't belong to Dee's Recipes group, I would definitely, even on our page here at the top of the low carb page, there should be a button there. In fact, I know there's a button there that says join the group. And if you click on that link, it will take you over to Dee's Recipes. So let me show you here. I will pop that up there. So when you're on our page, the low carb cooking page, see here it says visit groups. So if you just click on the group, of course, because I'm an administrator, it's not going to let me do that. So hold the phone here. But Dee's Recipes group has what we call units in it. So over here on the left-hand side, I hope everybody can see that. Yep. Looks like I'm in the right place here. If you click on the units tab over here on the left, then you can scroll down. You can see we have barbecue, beef, bell peppers, breads, wraps, buns. So if you want to look under breads, wraps, buns, muffins, you can see the different pictures and how to access the recipes. And even our followers will post their versions of the recipes, and so you can see what everybody's making here: waffle bread, artisan bread, then here's some other recipes. I try to post also the recipes each week in this format where you can also print that. So just a couple different ways to access our recipes. So I hope that helps everybody. And again, we have the baking cookbook, which is a good job, Joe. Awesome.
Nice.
All approve you. Make sure you answer the questions. I don't approve anybody that doesn't answer the questions. Anyway, so, and that also, automatically will subscribe you to the newsletter. And yes, Renee, we do the newsletter. Our girl Melissa is awesome. She takes care of us. So yes, the newsletter will come out. So if you've signed up for the newsletter and you're not getting the newsletter, take a look at your junk mail. Make sure that you have whitelisted our MailChimp, because it does come through MailChimp. So things like Gmail and Yahoo email, sometimes they kind of throw that out and you have to go find it in your junk mail and approve it. But yeah, that's it's all volunteer here, you guys. If there's somebody that wants to help us with postings and what have you, send me a message. Okay, Dee, we have about 7 minutes left, and we always like to talk about some coaching tips. If you guys have any questions, let us know, because we are always happy to answer your questions. I wanted to say Ideal Weight Loss Center says she's going to be in Palm Desert in August. Come see us. Send me a private message. We would love to have you stop by our clinic. If you are a snowbird, come see us in Palm Springs, Palm Desert area. We love to see our snowbirds. All right, Dee, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, any questions? No questions yet? I'm going to touch on something, and guys, this isn't to hit a nerve, but it's a little bit more education, because it has been a common theme this week in our clinic, and I think it's really, really important we talk about it. So this week, I've had some clients under eating their packets because they chose to eat some non-protocol food that had carbohydrates in it. And so they thought that they could trade those non-protocol carbohydrates for their packets. So what I'm going to say to you is, what happens is your body is then not receiving the pre-broken down, highly absorbable protein that it needs in order to use your muscle as a source of fuel. So what in essence you're doing is you're starving yourself, and your body will have no choice except to use your muscle, because it's going to use your muscle before it uses your fat if you're not feeding it the adequate amount of protein. Now, the reason why we use the pre-broken down protein, it's lower calorie form. So we can't eat a pile of high calorie meat and still get our bodies to burn our fats. We also can't skip them because we chose to eat some carbs that weren't on program. So it's really important that you understand the process of why it doesn't work. And so we just want to make sure that we're explaining that process and that education to you. So when you started before you started the program, you've got sugar coursing through your blood if you're eating any type of simple or complex carbohydrates. There's sugar in your blood. So when you go on Ideal Protein, you first are going to burn sugar in your blood. Then you're going to use the glycogen, which is also sugar that's stored in your muscles. That's the second stage. You have to burn through both of those first before your body will roll over into using your muscles and your fat as a source of energy. The protein that we consume is there to protect our muscles so that our body will use the fat. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask, or if we need to explain it in a different way, we can try to do that too. Oh, lactose intolerant. Okay. So
you go ahead and then I'll chime in on the lactose intolerant.
Okay, so a lot of times lactose intolerant clients will be completely fine on our program, as the whey protein, it is broken down. So it's not the same as having your any type of fresh dairy. But I'm going to just turn that right back and say, like, what do your clients experience? Because I have had clients that have put milk allergy in their health profile and do 100% completely fine, even on our whey product proteins. So
I've probably in over 1,000 clients, we've had 2 people, and really, I'm not sure that it was lactose intolerant as much as it was just a massive IBS and who knows what else, problems in the stomach acid, in the digestive system, in so many different places. So what I have found, and I was really sensitive to this because, of course, in California we have a lot of different eating styles, and there's so many different people that have sensitivities, and maybe we're just more vocal about them. I don't know, but I always say to my clients, well, okay, here's a chocolate packet, try this kind of protein, try this kind of protein, try this kind of protein, and then see if any of this bothers you. And I have to say, honestly, unless somebody has some really intense problems and food sensitivities, lactose intolerance doesn't really, because of the way that the protein isolates are extracted, we don't really have a problem with that. And you have to remember, it's not coming from, our products really are sourced, they're non-GMO, they're organic, so they're sourced differently than your typical milks and that kind of thing that you're going to find in your grocery store. So honestly, we really haven't had any issues with that. So, I think it's just important that each person tries a few things and tries different proteins. And I do have some clients that are like, they have some really intense soy intolerances. So, and gluten intolerances. And the bottom line is there are products that you can use. Is your variety going to be huge? No, not really, but that's okay. It depends on what your ultimate goal is. Is your goal to lose weight, or is your goal to, be entertained by food? Get entertained by all of these different vegetables that Dee is showing you how to puree, mash, add to muffins, add to breads, add to smoothies, add to popsicles, and figure out how to entertain yourself with different flavors other than chocolate bars and chocolate puffs.
I wanted to throw in there, our clinic has seen over 1,000 different patients, and out of that 1,000, we did end up having 2 using 4 to 6 products. We're completely happy. We're completely satisfied. They took the time. We took the time. We went through with them. We found all the boxes that didn't contain sucralose and said, here you go. And they felt amazing. And the one, when she first started, she just got a funny sensation in her mouth, wanted to know if she could just try the non-sucralose products. We went that route. She was completely successful because she had the mindset and the determination. She wasn't going to let, not having 85 product choices
get in the way,
be her stopping. And as a coach too, when sometimes products become unavailable for a limited amount of time, I'm sometimes slightly entertained by the outcry, because I think it's a perfect opportunity. There is over 80 products that you could try in the IP lineup. And I think it's a perfect time then to find a new favorite when that happens, because lots of the time you can be pleasantly surprised of opening up your palate and just trying some new things too. Sometimes that can take some time, but yeah,
I totally agree with you. And if you're getting yourself to a place where you're eating a vanilla crispy bar for breakfast and chocolate puffs for lunch, and something, a chocolate mud cake for dinner, you need to figure that out, because here's the bottom line: we're we're training ourselves to want chocolate, chocolate, chocolate when we get off of protocol and we go into maintenance. And that's where we see the big, massive failures happen is when we're not really learning to eat real food and to have real flavors and to have breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And, you know, don't do a disservice to yourself just because it has the right amount of carbs in it or the, you know, right count of proteins in it or what have you, because in reality, in the wild, wild west, which is what I call maintenance, we should be eating food. Like real food, like one ingredient food. This is a strawberry. This is a, you know, whatever it is. So that's what I want to get you to eating real food.
And I really think it's hilarious. And this is just my opinion only, but I think when there's marketed meal replacement bars or, you know, there's bars and they have a healthy fat for you, but you got to freeze them to choke them down with 2 glasses of water because of how they taste. Like, it's not a good option. In place of whole food in maintenance. You know what? You need a serving of healthy fat. Woo! I got 15 off the top of my head that you can physically put in your mouth and chew. And, you know, just things like that. And that's what we want to encourage you to do, because in maintenance, we want you to taste your food. We want it to be an enjoyable sensation. We want you to feel satiated. And so, you know, phase, yes, the protocol is a way to get off the weight, but I still want you to try soups, and I still want you to try oatmeal, and I'll make you some savory bread to have with a homemade, you know, garden veggie soup or a stew or a dinner, or like, we want to give you those skills to make the losing phase enjoyable, but also just kind of keep it seamless transferring into phase 4, where there you're going to add your healthy fats and, you know, a little bit more calories and whole proteins, you know, that you were missing in the losing phase. So that's really, really our main goal. We want to keep it really seamless for you. So
awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Heidi says, oh, I want savory bread. So Heidi, head over to the Dee's Recipes group and look in that unit for the breads. And there are several recipes for Dee's artisan bread and a variety of things that you can have while you're losing weight. You know that Oprah likes to eat her bread, and so do we. So.
Apple sage bread is my recommendation if you need a bread.
All right, I love it. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. If you are on here live, give us a hashtag live. If you're in the replay, give us a hashtag replay. If you are not getting our newsletter and you would like this week's recipes, all you have to do is type the word newsletter. There's going to be a 2-step process. So you got to say yes, and then you have to hit the newsletter button to go through the subscription process. Dee, as always, wonderful show, wonderful pictures, and some really good inspiration for this week. We're going into the last couple of weeks before school starts. If you're waiting around for school to start to get on your program, just get on your program. Don't keep waiting for the next, and then it's Labor Day, then it's this, anniversary, then it's Halloween. And guess what? In less than 6 months, it is going to be the holidays. So let's get that 30, 40 pounds off that you've been talking about forever. And, let's do this.
Let's do this.
So, all right. We'll see you later. And Dee, I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.